Hello and welcome to the second part of the UDK particle system tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how you can use Cascade to make rain and snow. To start off, we'll be making a small texture that we can use for our water sprite. So for that, just go ahead and launch Photoshop. Start a new document by 64 pixels. And the resolution can just be at 72. So just go ahead now and make the background black. And then we want to just add a white circle brush directly in the middle, just making sure that it's not touching the edges. And then the last thing we need to do is go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and just add a little bit of a blur until it starts to reach those borders. That looks good. Now we can save this as a TGA and import it into the content browser. Now we can make a material for it. Just plug it in as a texture sample. We need to put in a vertex color node, which is under constants, new vertex color. I'm going to multiply it with the RGBA slot of the texture sample to the opacity slot of vertex color. And we'll need to change the blend mode to translucent, and now we can plug this into the opacity slot. Now for the actual color, what we're going to do is set up a lerp system, which is short for interpolate, and that's going to allow us to blend between two different colors, and all we're going to use is blue for rain and white for snow. So for the snow one, we can basically just go ahead and plug in our existing texture sample to the B slot. But for the rain, we're going to create a new 3 constant vector. Choose a nice blue color. We want it to be a little bit desaturated. Looks nice. So plug that into A, and then for the alpha we're going to create a scalar value. So that's under parameters, new scalar parameter, or you can hold S and click. For the group we'll go diffuse, and for the parameter name we'll put in color. Link that up to the alpha, and now you can see when I put this to 1, it'll go to white, and when I put it to 0, it goes back to blue. So we'll just leave it at 0 by default, and we'll plug this into the emissive slot. We also want to change the lighting model to unlit. There we go. That's our particle sprite material ready to go. So we can save this now. Oh, I've forgotten to do something. It's really important that we set up the distortion. So just jump back into the material, and I believe all we need to do is link the original texture sample up into the distortion channel. Just go ahead and save that now. And we can create a brand new particle system for our rain sprite. Just double click on it and go into Cascade. And the first thing we need to do is go up to the required tab, grab our rain material and just chuck it in the slot. That actually looks pretty cool, even though it doesn't particularly look like rain. So what we need to do is reverse the velocity direction, probably extend the lifetime as well, and make the initial size a lot smaller. And we'll probably tweak it a bit beyond that, but that's what we'll do to start off. So just go to initial velocity, and we want to change the minimum and maximum z directions. We can pretty much just go ahead and add a minus to both of these values, and now we've got it going the other way. So we want to go to lifetime now, and probably put the lifetime around, we'll start it at 4 for minimum, and at max we'll go 6. So now we need to separate the spawn points so they can spawn from a larger area. So to do that, we're going to right click, go into location, and put in an initial location node. And with this we can widen the range at which they spawn. So we'll try putting in -100, -100 for the top 2 max, and for the top 2 min we'll put 100 and 100. Now it's acting a lot better. It looks very much like snow at the moment. So we'll have to change the, probably double the range here. So we'll change this to 200, 200. That's looking a bit better. Now we can play around with the size and the velocity. So we want to go to initial size, and we'll take this way down. We'll make it 444 for max and 222 for minimum. That's much smaller, looking a lot more like rain now. Now the only thing left to do is go into initial velocity again, and we'll probably try doubling the z amounts so that they're falling faster, more like rain. That's the, oh, that was meant to be 100. There we go. So that's looking a bit better. I might try doubling it once more. So we'll change this to -400 and this to -200. Might have to go up even more. We'll change this to 600, -600, and we'll change this to -400. That's looking pretty good. Alright, let's see how this looks in the editor. So obviously we'll have to lift it up because it's going to be falling from the emitter downwards. We might not be able to see it very clearly until we put it in front of something dark. So it's probably still too slow even now. So we'll try going all the way to -1000 for the top one, and for this one we'll try -800. It's looking a bit better. So rain is a bit light at the moment. we probably want to make it a bit more dense. So what we can do is just double the spawn constant rate. So just under spawn, go to constant, and just make this 40, and that should look a bit better. So that's how you can essentially make a really simple, quick rain particle system using a very simple texture that's only 64 by 64 pixels. And now if we play around with some settings, we can turn this rain particle system into a snow particle system. So let's jump into the content browser, and we're going to basically just duplicate this rain system, but we'll call it snow. Now we can jump in there, and all we really need to do is increase the lifetime. So we'll increase it to, let's say, we'll go 8 for minimum, 12 for maximum. And for the size, we'll bump it up to 8, 8, 8, and 6, 6, 6. Yeah, that should be fine. For the velocity, we can just slow this right down to minus 400 and minus 200. It's looking better. And now we can add in some bit more random velocity. So in initial velocity, we'll just try tripling these values. So for x, we'll go 30, y 30, and under minimum for x, we'll go minus 30, and y minus 30. Whoops. There we go. Cool. So it's looking pretty random now. Let's see how that looks. We'll just place it down next to our rain. Oh, and it's also important that we switch over to the white texture. So to do that, what we need to do is right click on our water drop mat and go new material instance constant. I'll call this snow. And now we can toggle on this color value, put this at 1, and it switches over to white. And we'll jump into our particle system again, and with our new white material selected, we'll go to required and just plug it in. And now it should look a lot more like snow. There we go. So on the left there we've got our rain system, on the right we've got our snow. There's one last cool thing we can try doing. Using all 3 particle systems we've constructed, both our fire, rain and snow, we can attempt to put together a little sequence. So just chuck in your fire sprite. And what we're going to do is try and set it up so that the fire will start burning, and then once the smokes come in, it'll start raining, the fire will go out, and the rain will turn into snow. So first, just go into Kismet. We're going to add in each one of our particle systems. Sort of position them over the top of each other. I want the snow to be slightly above the rain there. Alrighty, so we should have, the first one should be, Yep, so we've got fire, rain and snow. And what we're going to do is just use toggle to sort of sequence through them. So by default these particle effects are going to start playing as soon as you get into the level. So what we need to do is right click on the emitter and go to the properties, open up emitter, open up particle system component, and you want to take off, just untick auto activate. We'll do that for each one. There we go. Now they won't play automatically, and we can toggle and disable them as we need. So we'll chuck in a event loaded. So on loading, we will turn on the fire, after which we will wait, let's say 8 seconds. So we'll put in a delay holding D, make that 8 seconds, and after the delay we'll start the rain, put in another delay of 6 seconds, at which point we will turn off the fire. Then we can put in another delay. We'll make this one 4 seconds. And after that delay, we will turn on the snow. Oh, I've still got that set to on. So we've got to make sure we're turning off the fire there. So we turn on the fire, turn on the rain, turn off the fire, turn on the snow. Put a delay of 4 seconds. And after this delay, we're going to turn off the rain, so it will just be snowing. So I haven't tested this yet, so in theory this should work, but we never know. So let's jump in and have a look when we play. So our fire's going. Smoke should come in any second. There we go. Now it's starting to rain. And it's put out the fire. Now it's starting to snow as well. And the rain fades out. That's how you can create a really simple particle system sequence.